Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. So, as it turns out, the first recording turned out to be a failure, but it is what it is. We've managed to come up with some alternatives here, and we're gonna go ahead and give this another try. This time, I am not flying VR. This is gonna be just for the purposes of testing the recording. So that's let's go ahead and set up a new flight. Uh, we'll do a short long haul. Well, short long haul. We'll do a short flight today. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start with the engines off. We're gonna spawn up at Punta Cana International Airport. Let's go to get one of the alpha gates. This is fine. We are simulating real world weather, real world time of day. And yeah, we'll go ahead and set up the toll list here. And we'll take a quick hop over to San Juan, Puerto Rico. It should be about a 45-minute run. Honestly, as soon as you're up, you start to come right back down. So, yeah, stick around. By the way, I do want to compliment our friends over at NCS Releases. All their music and all their sounds are 100% free of copyright restrictions. So it helps us out to keep you entertained in the background. Go ahead and close out some of the plugins here. And while we're at it, I also do need to disable a couple of Fly with Lewis scripts since we now have the let's see here, Fly with Lewis macros, realistic, really functional. You know what? I'll worry about that later. Anyway, yeah, welcome to Punta Cana. Today we are stand 10, and like I said, we're going to fire this bad boy up, and we're going to take a trip out to San Juan. As you can tell, everything is powered down at this point, so it's not really a cold and dark tutorial, because I'll be honest, I have very limited capabilities when it comes to this, but we'll do our very best for you. Let's go ahead and set our departure airport and our destination, and today we're going to be DWI 210. So you now have that information available to you. For some reason, the system believes we are flying a Boeing 737. You can clearly see this is not a Boeing 737. This is the tallest A320, actually the A321. And forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. I'm not sure if it's tallest or tallest. But either way, yeah, it's their A321. I want to thank my boy O'Neill Rodriguez. He did the paint job for me. This is actually for RVA. For anybody that's interested in joining, by all means, you can go right ahead and go to flightcanavirtual.org and join. With that said, let's get the show started. First things first, we're going to start up our batteries here. Alright, make sure our fuel pumps are enabled straight off the bat. Set our iris. Alright. And while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and start up the APU. I find with this aircraft it's best to start it up with the APU than with ground power. But you know, everyone has their preferences, I guess. Wait for the systems to power up. Meantime, we'll start branding up our displays here. What do we want? I want this. Not sure if you can hear the APU in the background. I can hear it starting up now. And we now have APU power. So far, so good. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring up our charts here. I do have my Navigraph account linked, so I actually can look up the airports. So MDSD, actually no, MDPC, and here's our handy dandy chart. And it actually shows our position in relation to the airport. Let's go ahead and program this bad boy. And locate a suitable flight plan. As far as my flight planning goes, I only use SimBrief. I find it's the best source out there. Every once in a while, you'll get a questionable flight plan, and you know you make adjustments on the fly. All right. Today we got a pretty straightforward flight plan, actually. So I am happy about that. Alright, so today we are going to be, let's go to init ref, apply MDPC/TJSJ. Align the iris. This flight's going to be DWI 210, and you'll come to find that I use that number a lot. I don't know why, I just like that number configuration. So yeah, I tend to use that number a lot. Now before we get into the cost index, we do need to correctly lower and balance this aircraft, and the way to do that is through the tallest interactive menu. So we're going to go ahead and enable all the ground services while we're at it, and let's generate our flight plan here. Now, SimBrief is very useful because it gives you a lot of the information that you're going to need. Okay. One thing I don't like, this aircraft, I can't change it from kilograms to strictly pounds, so there's a little bit of conversion to do with this aircraft, but not nothing crazy. Alright, so today we're going to have 180 passengers on board. Alright, our payload is telling me 41.3, so let's go ahead and convert that over from pounds to kilograms. So we're talking about 41,300 pounds, that's 18.7. And our block fuel is going to be, we need 9.7 plus an additional 1.8 as extra, so a total of 11.5 pounds. which translates to about 5,200 kilograms. So we're going to decrease this down and we'll bring it, we'll leave it right at 6,000 just for safety. We actually got a pretty good weight and balance going right now. Like that. Alright, we'll go ahead and load these presets. Alright, and we'll come back to this guy later. We're going to need her again. In the meantime, let's go find our cost index. For this particular flight, it's going to be 1.8. We're going to be cruising along at flight level 210. Alright, our block fuel is 6,000 today. So, and our zero fuel weight is going to be 73.4. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, now we can get into the actual flight planning. So we're going to be departing from Punta Cana, and we are going to be on the Catok to Quebec departure, which is actually wrong. The to Quebec is for 08. We're going to be departing from 09, so we're going to be departing to the Catok to Tango departure today. No transition. From Catok, we're going to go directly to the Biano free arrival. For some reason, a lot of people call it the Bino 3. Somebody, if you know, if you're a real world pilot, by all means, please comment. Let us know. Is it Biano or Bino? We're going to plan for the ILS 10 today. We're going to be in the Biano 3 arrival. And we're going to... Catok is not an option, so we'll just do... Insert. We'll double check for any flight discontinuities. We have none. That is a beautiful day. Alright. We're gonna go flaps 1, which means we're going to have RV speeds at 160 for V1, 162 for V2, and 164. I'm sorry, 162 for VR and 164 for V2. So flaps 1 and about 0.80 for trim. That works today. Alright. That's about all we need to worry about when it comes to flight planning. Now, I apologize because it seems like you all get a slightly different view than I do. I just noticed that. Let me try and fix this here for a moment. Interesting. There you go. That's what I see. That's much better now. And again, thanks for sticking around. This is the test video, so I appreciate you sticking around. Now, we are flying offline. We're not on the VATSIM network today. So since we have no ATC, we're going to go ahead and we're going to dial in our cruise altitude of 210. However, we would normally set this to about 5,000, which is the initial departure, or the initial climb. Let's see, am I forgetting anything? Got that all set, got that all set. Yeah, we're good to go ahead and get started here. Now, let's set our push. So we're going to push onto Alpha here. And we're gonna wanna be facing west.
Ground to cockpit. Canon knowledge. Coming through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, beautiful. Set. And we might as well go ahead and call the tug. Better push back, start push
Ground to
back.
cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Alright, turn these bad boys on. Currently we have no faults on our display, which is good. You can see the tug coming right up there. Something tells me he's a little drunk.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
For those of you wondering, as you can see, my engines are still shut down. No movement there. What you're hearing is the APU on the back.
Tow connected and bypass being inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, so we're all good to go now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, on our APU bleed, we're going to release our parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Select our engines, engine start. We're going to start number 1. Correction, number 2. You can actually hear it spooling up. Your verify is coming up right here. At around 40%, it's going to stabilize. Stable. Go ahead and we'll start number 1. If you notice, we do have one fault, NW. That's just talking about the nose wheel pin is disconnected, which is fine. The tug has control right now. Engine 1 stable. Go up top. Kill the APU altogether.
Quit blinding me with your taxi light. Turn it off.
That's funny. I always like to do that. So the tug just yelled at me. It told me to turn off my taxi lights. So you can see my engines are now on. Go ahead and set the parking brake. check the panel, see if we forgot anything by chance. Oh, good, good. Use tilted thrust, we're still on flaps 1. And interestingly, these changed a little. We're now 158 at 162. We want to leave that alone. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Wasn't quite done.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
There goes the tow. Alright, we'll take a quick look outside, make sure everything's everything. Alright, all clear. Normally we'll report to the ground now and they'd give us taxi instructions, and they would be along the lines of taxi via Delta Echo to Holding Point Echo runway 09er. So that is exactly what we're going to go ahead and do today. Release the parking brake. Now, for anybody who can actually pick up on the shaking, it's not a glitch. That is a script that I've added to fly with Lua that gives it that motion feel. When I fly in VR, I don't need to run the script because VR automatically assumes that and simulates that, which is awesome. But when I am not flying VR like I am now, the script kind of simulates that on the screen for me a little bit. Alright. So at the moment, let's go ahead on our spoilers and set flaps 1. Turn on all our lights here. Auto brakes are set to max. Cabin is checked. Do our best to keep our center line here. Doesn't always work, but we'll do our best. Normally we call the tower, but again, we are flying offline today, so no tower. We're up and set on the runway. The checks are complete. Let's rock and roll. Today we are using Toga versus Manflex SRX. Nice thing with this is an RNAV departure, so pretty much as soon as we take off, we can hit the autopilot and she'll do her thing. Positive rate, gear up. The autopilot, let it do its thing. Watcher here. We're going to go ahead and set climb thrust. Flaps up. As you can see, we are smoothly climbing through 3700 up to flight level 210. I do also want to remind you that the speeds that you are seeing are ground speeds, not indicated airspeed. So we are well within our norms here. If you notice, the aircraft is leveling off 5,000 feet. That's standard. So the SID has that restriction on it, so the aircraft must comply with it. If we were on the VATSIM network under ATC conditions, we would be held at pretty much 5,000 feet as well, and then climbed up to our cruise. So it's this guy out here. Departure, runway 09er. As you can see, we are right on the money. I do want to thank the crew over at Fly Lab Studios. They do an amazing job. Thanks to them, you are able to see all the information that you have up on the screen there. So I do want to give a shout out to them. Most importantly, it is 100% free, ladies and gentlemen. So if you would like to record your own videos, your own flights, by all means head on over, download the software. It's very easy to install, very easy to use. For those of you that are curious, Total distance for today's flight is 135 nautical miles. We have 121 left to go. Now, if you notice, the aircraft is holding steady at 7. It could actually climb all the way up to 8,000, but given its direction of flight, it's going to hold at 7. That's part of the LOA and part of the way the SID is configured. How do I say it? San Juan Center and Punta Cana Approach have an agreement that basically requires our departures out of San Juan to be at a specific altitude when they cross the boundary from one to the other. So that's what you're seeing here now. That's why the aircraft isn't climbing further. And just momentarily, we're going to go ahead and lose that. So we're now going to go back. We'll do search. TJSJ. We're going to want our arrivals. Viano 3. Very soon, you're going to see the aircraft pop up just over Katok here. And we're going to follow this in to Viano, down to Maylet, down to Wesson, and then at Wesson we'll join the approach. Correction, down to Tyner, and at Tyner we'll join the approach for runway 10. No, I am not a real-world pilot. I am not a real-world air traffic controller. However, I've spent quite a bit of time on the VATS and not working on both, so that's why I'm able to read these things and understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Not to say that I understand it 100%, but you know, we'll get there one day. As you can see, that's the funniest thing. Here, let me enlarge this for you. So this blue line is our top of descent. The white line, I'm sorry, the blue line is when we reach our cruising altitude. The white line is our top of descent. We're talking maybe a mile or two of difference. So literally when I said we climb up and we come right back down, that's literally what happens. You get up to cruise, you come right back down. We are now above 10,000, so we can go up here, kill our lights. TA says we'll be arriving at around 15:25 Zulu. Realistically, that's about 18 minutes from now. One fun fact, by the way, for some reason, and maybe they can fix this in the future, the positioning is off with these charts as far as the tablet is concerned. If you see my aircraft is way back there, we actually passed Qatar a long time ago. So for whatever reason, the chart, or the tablet, I should say, can't really pick up on the precise GPS positioning of the aircraft, which I found, I encountered this error a while back, so I'm not aware of it. But you know, for those of you that are brand new to flying with X-Plane and using the Avitab, don't freak out if you're like, where the hell is my plane? It just happens. Starting on the next flight, we'll start to conduct our flights on the VATSIM network. And also, we'll sponsor them from IBA. So you'll see 2 new logos up on top there. You're more than welcome to join both. VATSIM is a worldwide flight sim community. It's become recently more popular after the release of Microsoft 2020, since they did partner. It is 100% free to use. There's no cost to the users. And Flyghana Virtual is a brand new virtual airline that myself and a couple of other friends have put together. And we primarily operate in and out of the Santo Domingo airspace. It is also free to use and at no cost to any members. We are now past the transition altitude, so we're now at flight level 180. So all the temperatures have been set now to standby. We're about 10 miles from our cruise. I'd say about 12 from top of descent, so interesting. You're not even going to have time to make it all the way to 21. Just go ahead and reset this down to 2000. I'm going to start our descent right back down. Take a quick look at the chart. We expect to cross Biano at 1,000 and Milet at 6,000. see the QNH. Let's find our weather here. Currently, San Juan is 180 at 7. Visibility 10 miles. Scattered clouds at 32. Scattered clouds at 75. Scattered clouds at 10,000. Altimeter 29 or 9 or 8. Feeling pretty good. Yep. This is going to be 29 or 9 or 8. Current temperature is 31 degrees. Wind is 180 at 7. And we'll be landing configured. Alright. Reset this bad boy here to 29 or 9 or 8. Go to the first officer side. Yep, sure that's all good. There's the Puerto Rico coastline. You have Borinquen, close to the north edge there. Currently named Aguadilla Airport. Now we're getting ready to descend down below the down below 10,000 feet. So at that point, we're going to need to be much slower. We need to be below 250. I'm going to try to help the aircraft along a little bit here. let's take a look at our charts here. Let's see. Approach. ILS 0. Coming in over Tyner. So we're going to intercept the lie slope and capture. We want to be right around 1,500 feet. Minimums in this one are going to be so about 300. I don't know if you can tell, but that little speck over there, I can't decide what it wants to be. That's the airport. Actually, before I forget. All types of stuff outside. Breaks to medium there. this point. You just go ahead and set it, find the approach angle. Slow this bastard down. The reason you're hearing the alarm is because I had to deploy my spoilers well in excess of your speeds, but what can I tell you? Alright, screw the autopilot, screw that. My aircraft.
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
Definitely not centerline, but you know, it'll do the job. Oh, we're gonna run out of runway. Way to go. Well, there's a textbook example of what not to do, folks. Yeah, looks like we just killed a couple hundred people and landed in the water. Well, there you go. That's just to prove to you that I am not a real world pilot. So there's a good lesson as to what not to do. Don't trust the damn plane. And this poor lady's kitchen is toast. Alright folks, well, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.